Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Sunday edition of the Paranormal Weekend Morning Brew Show. I'm Nighthawk, and we got Eric backstage. It is 10:53 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 24th of 2024, March. Last night was an interesting night for both Eric and myself. I decided to come on and do a live because of the morning program not going off because of my health. I'm going to get through the disclaimer. We're going to do a little bit of topic, cover a couple of the stories first in the news, and then we're going to get into the paranormal and supernatural aspect of things. Copyright disclaimer is this channel may use some copyrighted material, but contends that it falls under the Fair Use Act without specific of the owner, but contends that it falls under the Fair Use Act, the Copyright Act of 1976. Nighthawk High Strange, this podcast channel, and all the podcasts on the channel declare fair use of any and all content, including the music, to be used for the sole purpose of informing you, the viewing family, of information for educational purposes, criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, parody, general knowledge only, and let's not forget entertainment value. Per Title 17, subsection 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, otherwise known herein as the Fair Use Act. Okay, that being said, let me get that off of there. And we're going to get into some of the stuff going on. Last night on the podcast, the live that I did at 10 o'clock Eastern last night, Eric, we covered quite a bit of stuff. It was almost to the point where it was confusing for me, and I was the one covering it, which doesn't, it happens. You get so caught up in things and wanting to try to get your point across and all that, and things start to scatter. But wait a minute. Phone going off. Just a bill collector. They can wait. Anyways. Oh, come on. Now they're starting to annoy me. Watch, they'll call right back. See?
Looks like they're calling on the Sunday.
Yeah, that should be outlawed. Used to be. Used to have rules in this world. Now we're a lawless and ruleless society. Anyways, as I
Mm,
was saying, I think everybody in the news heard in the news that Russia got attacked apparently, and ISIS K is the one that's claiming that they did it, and our government is saying that ISIS K did it. You know, it's a liar's poker tournament between everyone involved in that war, and it literally is a liar's poker. Um, if you know what I'm talking about, say an amen in the chat. Um, but yeah, 133 people were killed, civilians, innocent civilians, and something like 150 were wounded. Five armed
mm.
gunmen went in, dressed in camouflaged, and all that, and just proceeded to open fire. We've seen several times where that's happened here in the States, especially 9/11. That was the biggest tragedy of them all here for us in New York City and DC also, and that little farm in Pennsylvania where the plane crashed. Um, there's rumors that maybe the CIA might have had something to do with it, over in Russia. Who knows, the powers that are in control just definitely want to keep such a negative atmosphere in our world that nobody that fights for the light can actually gain strength enough to fight against the darkness. And it's becoming increasingly difficult. But the reason I bring that up is because the one thing I wanted to talk about last night also was our energy, and I've gone over it a couple times in podcasts in the past. Where our energy, our body's energy, our essence, our chi, whatever you call it, and the manipulation of our chi with our hands and our thoughts, you know, um, energizing us, and only giving us pure energy and not the contaminated crap from the world. Um, I wanted to pop this up on the screen, and if anybody wants to, I'll leave it up for a little bit so you can jot it down on a piece of paper, or take a screenshot of it. And what it is, well, here, I'm going to put this one up first, okay? Now, this one talks about our electromagnetic field that makes up our aura or our energy. The Taurus teaches us that energy flows both up, down, and all around. Like I said, the Taurus flows in an infinite direction and sends an equal amount of energy both upwards and downwards simultaneously, okay, at the same exact time. Now, that's exactly what I was trying to show people to do when they manipulate their energy, their aura or their chi, okay, with the hands. You can make it go out, you can make it come in, you can make it go up, down, and you can feel the palms of your hands heating up as you do that. That's your energy, okay? We are a mass of energy inside a flesh bag, okay? Pretty much. But here's what I wanted to post last night, but I forgot to, and it is the actual frequencies for certain things, to remove pain, influence energy field, facilitate change, repair DNA, awaken intuition, which is a good one, 741 hertz, attract soul tribe, 852 hertz, and on and on and on. Let me get the banner off of there so you can see the one on the bottom. Connect with light and spirit, 963 hertz. See, these are the sound frequency levels of music or a certain repetitive sound. I remember that back in the old days of TV when at 2 a.m. they went off the air and you had that static noise after the TV went off the air, the station went off the air. If you have that at a certain pitch, like say 639 hertz, it would heal relationships, and stuff like that. That's what sound frequency does. It repairs things, and it promotes positive energy when you do it the right way, and you make yourself spiritually stronger. And that's one thing I wanted to cover last night. And if if everybody wants this, I can even send it to them through Messenger on Facebook or whatnot. So they have this list. But yeah, I just I really wanted to cover that, and it's something that we forgot how to do. There's a few of us that know how to do it, but there's a lot of people out there that don't know how to do this to manipulate our energy. And believe me, you're going to need to. And I will tell you why. Okay. The reason is because we are basically at a apex in our lives right now, where we're going to either do a dramatic shift or we're going to fall flat on our face. Okay. Um, I covered last night how every, say, 4,000 years to 6,000 years, humanity seems to destroy itself and recreate itself over and over and over again. And that's why we have societies built on top of other societies. And that's why we're finding technology that we never thought the ancients would have, but they had it. Okay. It's been proven through a lot of the architecture, a lot of the devices that are seen. It's Baghdad battery. How about that? I mean, who knew? But it's such a faint and distant past that we as humanity have tried to recreate it over and over again. It's like a science experiment that's gone awry, and we need to really get out of this 3D world. Okay, that's the first and foremost thing we're supposed to do. Okay, we're given tests in this world. We're giving a chance to redeem ourselves in this world. And the list goes on and on and on for what we're meant to do here in this world. Okay, um, so I wanted to post that and let everybody get a chance to write it down. All right. Now that being said, I also covered last night this little asteroid that's hurling itself at our planet. Okay. And scientists have said that this asteroid, they don't know if it's going to hit the Earth, or they don't know if it's going to be a close glancing blow, through the atmosphere, and back out again. They just don't know. Okay. They say that this asteroid is the same size of the as the asteroid that struck Earth, that basically eliminated the unalived the dinosaurs. Okay, I don't think that happened. I think that dinosaurs weren't eliminated, and I will go over that too a little bit later on in the show. But yeah, I thought this was interesting, and this is all occurring before 2025. And then we have this, okay, the solar eclipse, okay, not the lunar eclipse. The lunar eclipse is going to be the 25th of this month, okay, which is predicted in the Bible, by the way. Okay, it is a prophecy of the Bible. But what I'm talking about is the eclipse that follows the trajectory from like around Maine and goes all the way down into Mexico, okay, in that diagonal straight line there. Did you know that is actually a fault line, an earthquake line, going from Maine all the way down into Mexico? In 1811, there was an earthquake measured at over a 7.0. Described it hit that and killed 130 some people throughout that whole area. Yeah, and it was right in the center of the state, so right around Missouri, actually, where it happened. Hate to say it, but yeah, pretty close. Well, that X that marks the spot there, the top X, just over from West Virginia and Virginia and all that, is where the fault or the main part of the earthquake in 1811 happened. Okay, now it's predicted in the Bible that the earth is going to shake again around the same time of the 3 days of darkness. Okay, is what the Catholic religion says. Okay, and we went over last night basically what you can do to promote yourself, to protect yourself, and all that, and your family. Um, you know, there's certain counties and certain states and stuff that have called out the National Guard during this. Okay, and to me, it just seems awful funny how they would call out the National Guard, unless they're wanting to either a manipulate something or fake something or make something more dramatic than what it is. And we all know our government can be really melodramatic. Okay, just just think about it. I mean, everybody's everybody's talking politics and all that. I don't even care about politics. To tell you the truth, I really don't. Because I think personally, the ones from our local government on up to the White House, we need to get rid of them all. Get rid of them all and get average, God fearing, good, hardworking individuals in those positions of government to do us right. So that's just my opinion. And that and $1.50 nowadays might get you a cup of coffee. So, but
It's funny you bring
anyways,
up that
to get on
earthquake.
to the subject of today, yeah, go ahead.
That
No, go ahead.
earthquake back in that time was the strongest. That earthquake hit here in Missouri, and it was the strongest earthquake in recorded United States history. It hit so hard it ran the Mississippi backwards for 3 days and rang the bells
Hmm.
in Maine. That is the one that talked about, and that hit. That's there. It actually
Hmm.
is goes along Missouri, and that was the United States' largest
Hmm.
recorded earthquake in history.
Yep. Not anymore. Because the Bible is
Mm,
predicting another one. So I thought that was very interesting how it's exactly the trajectory that the eclipse is taking, the exact
mhm.
same direction and the exact same location. I mean, what are the odds on that? 1,000,000 to 1? I mean, that's just, to me, that's just, you can't fathom that because it's so odd how everything's lining up, as prophecy predicts. But yeah, that's people that live in that X really need to be on their guard and make sure that they have plenty of water and things to survive by, and make sure that they're in a structure that is capable of withstanding an earthquake of at least a 7.0. Um,
I'm not.
and I'm just saying that's as advice. Okay, I'm just giving that as advice because
Mm,
there's going to come a time when the 3 days of darkness are going to hit us,
mhm.
and what comes out in the dark, Eric? Monsters and
Oh, a lot of
creepies.
scary. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah, the
yep.
unfriendlies.
So, yep, and that's one of the reasons why I believe that they called out the National Guard in some areas, and that they wanted to promote people to stay within their homes and stuff and not come outside. It's either
Mhm,
that or off on the other complete spectrum of it, where they want to hide something that they're trying to do from prying eyes. You know, so it could be either or. Okay, with our government, you never
mhm.
can tell. But anyways, getting on today's subject, Eric, do you think that there is such things as immortals?
Oh yeah, there is plenty of reports throughout history, ancient, uh, most recent, and even present, have been mortals. So I mean, you look at, look at the Greeks. You had Perseus. I mean, you look at. Uh, I'm sorry, my brain is like half awake right now. Um,
That's all
you
right.
had Perseus, you had Hercules, you had a lot of them throughout history. They were called immortals. They were also known as demigods.
Right.
And then there was the blessed ones, and then of course you got your typical, your vampires, blah blah blah. So I mean, there's a lot of reports throughout history of immortals.
Yeah, well, I can tell you for a fact that vampires, the vampire cult, and the vampire way of societies does exist. I've proven that in several of my podcasts already, and I've shown the symbolisms that represent where their feeding zones are, and tattoos and stuff on bodies that represent symbolisms of what clan of vampire cult that these people are part of. So that being said, I really, to me, there's more than just one type of vampire. There's also energy vampires. I see them
Yep.
all the time, and they shift in from another dimension, and they zap us on those days you feel really sluggish and really lethargic. That is an energy vampire. They look like, the only way I can describe what I see in the veil in the on the other side is it looks like a jellyfish. Okay. And it's floating around above us, and these tentacles, whenever you feel like you're being drained, you'll have pressure on your shoulders, and you'll feel like real lethargic. Okay. And it's a kind of a painful pressure at first that you feel. And like when you get an arthritic ache or something, that's what it feels like. But that's their tentacles that they go into you, and they literally suck your life force out of you. And they say if you can't control it and you can't ward them off, that they can eventually affect your life so bad that you are unalive, if you know what I mean. So that being
I gotta
said,
learn how to protect myself from that.
yeah. The one thing that I do, I have a lot of shungite that I wear. I've got a cross here that I got. Oh, I got more than that here. Hold on. Well, you weren't supposed to see that. That's my little secret. That's my little secret. But I've got bloodstone that I wear, which is, very, very needed when it comes to being Native American, especially Lakota Sioux. Um, but yeah, I have a cross that I wear around my neck, and it's made out of shungite too. But they say you could have tourmaline, black tourmaline will protect you too from them. Um, and some of the other crystals and stuff like that will protect you from them. If you carry turquoise in your pocket, or you wear turquoise, that'll protect you too, because turquoise represents caring and love, basically. That's why it's used in a lot of jewelry for women. So, but getting back to the immortals, um, I don't want to say that I theorize that they could be some type of energy vampire, but there was, when Jesus was crucified, there was a Israelite that named Carpocalypse, that basically, when Jesus stumbled carrying the cross, he said to Jesus, "Come on, get up, and get moving." And Jesus turned and looked at him and said that, "For now, I will not rest, but I will be in a restful place soon. But you will never seek rest." And basically, the way the story goes, or I guess you could even call it a legend, um, Carpocalypse was deemed from that statement from out of Jesus's lips that he was deemed to be immortal and to suffer throughout history. And Carpocalypse actually changed in around probably around 1200 AD, after Jesus's death, 1200 AD. He changed his name to Count Saint Germain. Okay. Now, those of you in the chat that know about Count Saint Germain, please discuss it. All right, because I studied it briefly, but I don't know a whole lot about it. But he was said to be immortal. He was told by the King of France that the King of France was looking for proof that he was immortal. Okay, and Saint Germain basically um, challenged the King of France, and the King of France said that well, if you're this individual and you know the secrets of turning flawed diamonds into brilliant flawless diamonds, then take my diamond. And he had a diamond that was flawed, and Saint Germain looked at the king and said, "My dear king, I have seen Jesus turn water into wine. Making your diamond flawless is a mere trifle." Now, to say something like that to a king, you got to have some pretty big cojones. Okay. So, anyway, Saint Germain took the diamond. Okay. And 5 months later, Saint Germain returned to the king. Okay. And he said to the king, "Here's your diamond." And actually, the jeweler, the king's jeweler, looked at it and made sure it was the same diamond, and it was same size, carat weight, and everything. And the jeweler said it was flawless to be the exact same diamond. It was flawless, and it was worth 3 times the amount in money that it was originally worth. So Saint Germain made the diamond, the exact same diamond that was flawed, into a flawless diamond. How did he do that? I don't know. Was Saint Germain actually an immortal, or was Saint Germain actually a time traveler? That's my question.
Mm. That's yeah. I mean, either one is a very good possibility. I mean, because there's reports of that stuff throughout history too. I mean, like when I was covering the Bermuda Triangle, and I was telling everybody there's actually 12 of them across the world. And every single one of them you have accounts of people time traveling. The one that everybody
Mm-hmm.
knows about is that plane that flew into the Bermuda Triangle and wound up 2 hours ahead of time over in Florida when he should not have been there.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't use any fuel. Didn't I mean? So they said that the triangles, because they're all perfectly aligned. The only ones that's not lined up is the North Pole and South Pole ones. They were used to teleport from one part of the planet to the other, and they're all lined up with the energies of the Earth, which causes portalization. They also talk about you can go through time, like I said. So the fact that he could be a time traveler or an immortal or both, I mean, it's 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 not out of the realm of possibility. It's definitely something to consider and put on the table to discuss about.
Right. I'm interested to see what Gemini Moon and Melissa and Roger and everybody think in the chat on the subject. Do you believe that there could be immortals? Um, we talk a lot about the reptilian agenda, and how certain families are connected to it. Was Saint Germain from the future that came back? I mean, Saint Germain was said to speak 100 different languages. Now, do you know the brain capacity you would need to speak 100 languages and to memorize every one of them to exactly pronunciate it or even
Mhm.
write it? I mean, he was very, very fluent at every language at the time. So I don't know. I don't know. Could he have just been a time traveler, or could he have actually been an immortal? And is he still around today? That's what I'll say. Put this out there on the airwaves, everybody. I want to know, is Saint Germain still here today? And I want proof. So let's get him on the podcast. Okay. I want him
Heck
to sit
yeah.
across from me at a podcast, and we're going to have a talk. Okay. If Saint Germain is real. Now, there was a gentleman that said that in 1984, he was approached by a man on Mount Shasta in Washington State, that the man introduced himself as Saint Germain, which kind of, it's yeah, it's and you'll find it's what was I can't remember the guy's name, the hiker that was up on the Mount Shasta, but he said that someone approached him by the name of Saint Germain and was talking to him, and he didn't know anything about who Saint Germain was.
Yeah, it's I didn't even know about that. That is very intriguing. Oh, sorry. I didn't know you was picking that back up.
Yeah, yeah, that's just to me, yeah, Robin, I kind of Robin's probably got the
Yeah.
right idea here. Um, Probably both. Um, but how would that work though? If you're immortal and you're traveling in time, how do you not age? I mean, it was said that this guy was 40 years old to 45 years old the entire time throughout history. Okay, from the point of when Jesus was crucified until today. How do you keep yourself looking 40 to 45 years old when you're literally over 2,000 years old?
Our
So
God is amazing, brother.
now here, here's a thought. Yeah, sometimes my thoughts go really haywire. Okay, so here's a thought. Okay, what if Saint Germain used the adrenochrome to stay young?
Yeah, we know certain people have done that until a certain person done a certain thing and cut a certain thing off, which caused a certain thing to happen where certain people no longer look like a certain way.
Yep, they become unalive. um,
Hmm.
but yeah, that's just a thought. That's just a thought that I had. Melissa says she hasn't heard about Saint Germain. It's a very very famous immortal story. And it starts way back at the biblical time of Jesus, when Jesus was being crucified and carrying the cross, and he stumbled and fell down. And Saint Germain stepped out of the crowd and told him to keep on going and not to stop and not to dilly dally, basically. And Jesus looked at him. For me, I will have rest, but for you, there will be none. And basically, Jesus made him immortal, and he was said to have been made immortal so he would suffer everything that basically the Son of God suffered. God incarnate through Jesus. I call him Yeshua, um, but and we all know why I call him that. So, but yeah, it's a very interesting thing. It's kind of like the legend of Romulus and Remus, the boys that were, one was bitten by a bat and one was bitten by a wolf. One was said to live immortality as a vampire bat, and one was said to live immortality as a wolf, as a werewolf. Um,
Hmm.
Kind of like that. Um, and that's why I correlated maybe the whole, you know, immortal thing was because of they call it the elixir of life. Okay. And, Merlin, the magician during King Arthur's time, was one that actually was able to make the elixir of life. And, I often wondered, what if the elixir of life was actually the adrenochrome from people when they're scared getting harvested from them?
Yep.
It's just a thought. I don't know how anybody thinks in a chat about that. Good morning, Glades.
So to
Cindy,
give you guys a little, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
So actually, it's funny that a lot of people haven't heard about Saint Germain. Saint Germain it appears in so many stuff dealing with it. I mean, games, movies, cartoons, shows, anything deals with magic, immortality, time travel, portals, and stuff like that. Anytime any of that has to do with anything, you always hear Saint Germain. The name is in so many different publications, it's unreal. So the fact that he has gained enough popularity to be in stuff like that all the time, I mean, it tells you there's got to be something to Saint Germain, because he is talked about throughout history and throughout modern pop culture.
Yeah. I just find it very interesting, and just things like that just basically fascinate me to the point where I want to learn more about it. Not that I want to be immortal, because you know what, when I leave this body, I will be immortal. So I'm not saying that. But last night we also covered a I call it a dream. Some people call it a fitful dream. Some people call it a vision. But the other night I had a scene while I was resting, while I was sleeping, play out, and it was this beautiful male lion with a golden mane and a crown with 7 points on it, surrounded with rubies, and it was gold and silver, the crown, and how that lion changed into a blood red dragon and basically tried to unalive me 6 times. And finally, it went into where it came out of, which was the water. And basically, when it came out of the water as a dragon, it broke off into 3 separate, like, mountain lion type of cats, and that was my demise. um I see things like that, and I think, well, if there is a Saint Germain, I wonder, I wonder, what kind of, does he dream? Does he have visions like the sensitive people do that are in the paranormal field, or medicine men or medicine women, for my culture? Um, does he have the ability to just manifest himself, plop in and out of time? I mean, there's so many ways and questions I have about immortality, and if this Saint Germain is real. You know, that's just me. That's how my mind works. I'm always taught to question everything, and I don't know. I don't know. Is he just, is he a vampire? Is he a reptilian? Is he a human that was cursed by the god, um, by a simple phrase that was said to him? I mean, I really want to meet Saint Germain. Okay, I want to meet this individual, and I want to pick their brain, if you know what I mean. So I don't know. I find it interesting. So
Oh yeah, I mean it's a fascinating deal. I mean, I pretty much forgot about it until you said it, and then I started remembering all the stuff I've heard him in. I mean, he's in so much stuff. I mean, he's in a lot of stuff. I mean, so it gives credence to it because of what you were talking about earlier. What happened? I never knew the two were all in the same. Um, I didn't know that it
yeah,
was Jesus who
yeah.
did
He
it.
started out named Carpocalypse. Yeah. He started out named Carpocalypse, and he was basically
Okay.
a person that was watching Jesus carry the cross and stumbled and struggled with it. And he was the one to approach Jesus and tell him to continue that, and then that's when Jesus looked at him and said, I will be having rest in a while, but you will not have rest. So, it's just amazing how a phrase can do that. Now, did Jesus at the time, did he use the manifestation that he could use to make water into wine and to walk on water and all that? Did he use that manifestation power inside him to curse Saint Germain? I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, he
That's the
said
question.
he said, Jesus said that all the works done by me is not by me, but through me by my Father. So he was, because when
Mhm.
he came to earth, he lost all of his heavenly powers. So everything was done was his Father manifesting his energy and power through Jesus to perform these acts. So
Yeah, Paranormal Oz. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Been a while. How's Australia?
9 behaved.
Oh,
That's why I keep putting you down. Being awful needy this morning. Um,
yeah,
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, it's a very curious thing, and it really is. You know, is he a agent of darkness for what he's done? Is he, cursed for his cruelty towards Jesus? I mean, it's hard to say any of that.
Yeah, I just found it
Yeah.
very fascinating, though. I mean, because you have the stories, like I said before, with Romulus and Remus about one bitten by bat and one bitten by vampire, destined to roam the world forever, you not die. Um, and I don't mean to like glamorize it or anything because I'm not. I don't want to live forever, to tell you the truth, because living forever in this world would really suck. I mean, it would. I mean, think about it. That's probably the worst punishment that anybody could have to endure is to live with humanity's stupidity and recycling every history 4 to 6,000 years of destroying itself and then rebuilding itself, then destroying itself again. It's an endless cycle. Endless cycle.
Yeah. I mean, this bad that we're going through now is not going to last forever. That's why I'm always telling people you need to wake up, you need to open your mind, open your eyes, see the truth. Because in order to get out of this third dimension that we're into a higher dimension, a higher level, one of peace, prosperity, and joy, you have to be woke. You have to be woken up. You have to see things, the truth, and the way they is. That's one of the reasons why I do my shows. That's why I come on these shows, is to help educate people, because I want to see more people wake up and get to that higher dimension, a higher way of life. And the only way you can do that is by waking up and
Right.
seeing
Exactly.
reality, see the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I agree. Yeah, it's good to
So
see you, Paranormal Oz. You gotta come around more often, bro. All right.
there's a
So
lot of
what
stuff out there
about
talking about. Go ahead.
yeah, what about this whole scenario of being immortal? Am I missing? I mean, I've got to be missing something. You have the Romulus Remus story, of being immortal, and then you have Saint Germain's story of being immortal. It basically comes down to a curse, don't you think? Because if you think about it, Jesus cursed, Carpocalypse. He literally cursed them, to live forever, with his words. And then, you have Romulus and Remus said, one bitten by bat cursed and one bitten by wolf cursed. So is it the curse that makes somebody immortal? Is that what I'm missing?
No, because I mean, look at some of the others. They were immortal for the good deeds that they done. So I mean, I think it's kind of a combination of however you lived your life. That depends on how your immortality was gained. If you done good deeds and gained immortality, I think it's a blessing. If you done bad deeds and bad things, you got cursed, and you're cursed. That if you look at everybody who's cursed, they've changed physically. They've
Well,
changed. The
yeah,
ones.
I've actually I've actually been brought up in a family of as a generational curse. So that being said, I know something about curses, especially with the stuff that I did with my parent, so-called parent, when I was younger, and being taught certain things in the dark arts. Um, but I've done curses, and I've also unhexed curses. Um, but a generational curse is a minimum of 10 years. Okay. Because basically 10 years is every generation separation in the 10-year line. So basically, a generational curse is going to last the minimum, and this is the shortest time, it's going to last 10 years. The
Mhm.
longest, your entire lives, and the lives of your children and your grandchildren and all that. It just depends on how much power is put into the curse. But it's also the words, the way you word it too, that is sensitive. And I just can't help but think that, for Romulus and Remus, they didn't really have spoken words. They were just bitten.
Mhm.
Now, I don't know. I can't, I don't think I don't think Romulus and Remus would have been immortal per se, unless they were immortal before that bite. Okay. Um, and basically they were made into immortal monsters after that bite. At least that's my opinion. Now, if
Mhm.
Romulus and Remus is listening, I apologize. I don't mean to offend you. So, stay where you are. Um, but there's something to be said about the way the words are spoken. Okay. And I've always been one, words have power. Okay. Words have, you know, your words are a way of expressing your brain, your thoughts. Okay. And your focus on something. Okay. And that's what gives the words power. So when Jesus said, to Apocalypse that, I will have rest very soon, but you will find no rest. That was just, I don't know, such a statement that it's just amazing to me that, that he actually became, Saint Germain, and became immortal from it. So thank
Well,
you.
I mean, and you got to think too. I mean, look at that Native American story where two brothers were out hunting, and they had a very successful hunt. Um, they ran into a wandering old man out in the woods that needed some food. Well, they had more than enough food that they needed, so they gave him some food. For their generosity and their kindness, he blessed them with the gift of the wolf. Now they were able to transform into wolf form, regular, look like a wolf, and was became better hunters. Through time, one of them used that gift and poorly and made bad decisions. Therefore, was forever cursed to be in the shape of a upright wolf. What we think of dog man. Um, the other brother, which used his gifts and his powers for good, was able to transform back into from more form to human form. The brother who used it for bad could not.
Hmm.
So I mean, that's something to think about too.
So was it because of a bloodline, maybe?
It was just a gift that was bestowed on them for their kindness, and then one of them just turned evil. And when he turned evil, he's forever changed and can never never changed back into human form. He was forever changed into an upright wolf, what we know as a dog man.
Well, what I always was under the impression was that um, they could change back and forth,
Mm-hmm.
at a whim, basically. But I was always under the impression that basically the one bitten by the wolf was to stay in wolf form and never to be transformed back to a human.
Yeah, see,
And the vampire,
the old.
yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
The old Native American one was, yeah, originally they were able to switch back and forth. And the brother that used it for good was able to continually do that. The one that used his gift for bad could not. He was forever in wolf form. But it had warped his wolf form, and where he was known as the dog man. So it shows you there when you do stuff for good, and you manifest physically. When you do stuff for bad, it manifests physically too. And that's kind of the moral of that kind of story there. Always do good, otherwise you'll be ever changed and disfigured.
Yeah. Okay. Does anybody know how to make the elixir of life out there?
Yeah, I need it. Where's the fountain of youth, baby? Actually, now that I
Yeah.
think about it, wasn't Germain kind of tied to the fountain of youth as well?
That I'm not sure of. That's something interesting to find out.
Yeah, I'll
Um,
have to research that again.
if there is, yeah. Robin's got a good comment here.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's interesting you say that, Robin. A lot of times when I tap into people's aura, their energy, whatever you want to call it, um, to kind of get their history. Now, granted, some people have walls up, and you have to break down the walls to get to the truth behind things. In other cases, it's pretty easy to well get to. That's kind of what I'm doing is I'm tapping into that field that surrounds them, because that field's going to tell you the truth where the person's going to lie to you. You can tap into people's energy and get the truth, see things. Um, but it's a common. You like when okay, so when I was military, I made a career of hunting drug cartel pirates and terrorists for a living. Now I've said this a few times because it's very true. A person's actions and how he speaks will tell you more about the truth than his actual words will. The same concept goes when you tap into their aura or their energy field, whatever it is you want to call it. That energy field will tell you. Now, you can't put blockers up. And if you're good enough to break them blockers down, you can get to the truth. Some people are good or got a high enough energy when they put a blocker up, it's hard to break down that wall to get to the truth. But you can do it that way as well. Yeah, I knew
Yeah.
Ponce de Leon did Glades, but I was thinking Saint Germain. I haven't studied the Fountain of Youth in like 20 years, so I mean I'm trying to go off of faint memory. But for some reason, I had an
Maybe we
inclination
should
that
start looking for that.
yeah, no kidding, that Saint Germain had something to do with it as well. Oh, being you're on your Glades, do you know Cherokee
Now,
by chance?
the Fountain of Youth.
Yeah, I was kind of curious because if Glades knew Cherokee, because you remember that word that I kept catching on the EVPs, that Joe Cheche, that it, to me sounded to you
Yeah.
and DA sound like Cherokee. I was
Hmm.
trying to figure out if that's what it was. But yeah, I mean the fountain. I need to. I,
Yeah.
I really need
That's
to research that. Oh, okay. You are hamming it up, little dude. Yeah. No, not to face him. Ah, come on. Lay back down, or are you going to get back down? Sorry, guys. He's very, very needy right now.
yeah. Yeah, Robbins got it together here with the whole manifestation with the words and stuff. Um, it's like um,
Mm.
well, take the word hallelujah. Okay, take that word. Okay, halla is basically to um, to praise. Okay, and then Yah is the first three letters of our Creator's name, YAH. So hallelujah. So it's
Mm-hmm.
praise Yah, you know, and it's like impossible, it's I'm possible, you know. There's so many different ways you can actually use words as tools,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like the old magic trick, if you believe it enough and you do it enough and you practice it enough, it's going to become to the point where you'll be able to do it without even thinking twice about it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I went through when I was a child too.
Well, God says we have the
So,
power of life or death in our tongue. If you want life, you have to speak life. If you want death, you have to
mhm,
speak death. So be careful what you say to someone or about yourself because you can manifest
all
that
right.
into you because of the power of life and death in our tongue. I
Mhm.
actually have had heard of Coral Castle. Somebody was telling me about it, but I don't recall it.
Let's see
Cynthia,
here.
you're awesome. Thank you so much, Cynthia. You are the greatest.
Cynthia
Anyway,
Rock. Cynthia, you're the producer today again. In fact, I'm going to just make her producer. You are permanently made a producer. Nighthawk Eye Strange just has a producer named Cynthia. Okay. That's awesome. Thank you, Cynthia. Ray, it's good to see you on here, brother. It's good to see you.
yeah, man, I've been missing Ray lately. Been I'm trying some new stuff here. It's supposed to give you some minerals. So I keep forgetting to take it. But
Oh,
yes, I
yeah.
mean, you guys
Hey,
got to be
Larry. Good
real
to see you,
cautious on
Larry.
them. Oh, hey, Larry. Sorry, my hand's full. I can't text. Um,
Yeah. We're going to have to bring Robin on here sometime. Robin, you check your
yeah,
schedule
we
for next
do.
weekend. Maybe you can come on Saturday or Sunday morning with us because you're very well informed. Um, I've probably forgotten quite a bit. It happens when you get old.
Yeah,
But
broke a bone in my
oh, give
left
me a second
foot.
here. I gotta.
DMV getting license. Oh wow, Ray. Oh wow, that sucks, dude. I'm sorry to hear that.
Mm,
I've got to go next month and renew my driver's license, which sucks because I have a Class A CDL. So yeah, it's going to cost me out the
mm.
butt. Luckily, I get reimbursed through my job. I still got to fork that
Yeah,
money up.
I'm good till April of 2027, and I don't think I'll see that. So I'm not worried about
I,
it.
I speak life. I don't speak
Oh,
death. I speak life.
yeah. Well, I don't want to be 80 some years old and driving 15 miles an hour on, not to say, that's typical, but I just don't, I'm more of a horse guy. Okay. Let's put it that way. Give me a horse, or give me a Harley, and that's the way I would be, I've always been that
Hell
way.
yeah.
And I've had both. I've had both the motorcycle and the horse. So, um, and I've
Tell you, man, there's
lived
no,
a pretty good life. I mean,
yeah.
I've seen and done things that everyday people probably would never have imagined was possible, you know? Um, so yeah, I just, it's just, to me, if you want to speak life, then don't worry about death. Okay. You should be able to speak death whenever you want, because death is not the end of life. Okay.
Mm,
It's the end of this flesh toned body, and that's it. Life, I mean, energy never diminishes or stops, and we are pure energy. Okay. It's like somebody says, go to the light, how about not going to the light right away and just turn around and look behind you and see all the vast universe, you know, all over the place. And you'll see where you came from. Okay.
mm,
And, that's one thing that we're taught being Native American is we are connected not only to Mother Earth, but we are connected to every star and star system and suns and black holes and whatever else is out there. You know, we are related to that. Okay. That's where our essence comes from. Okay. And, some people have said that when we get into this flesh suit, that we're doing it because we're trying to repent for some reason, or we're just to do this to see if we can level up into something else. There's so many different things that basically make us come to the 3D world, and you know I don't want to be a part of it forever. I think that if Saint Germain was able to take back the words that he said to Jesus, um, about no rest for him, um, I think he would. I think he would think twice about saying anything, because I think that he is probably, if it's true, if it's actually a legitimate thing, okay, I would think that Saint Germain would now be in such a faulty, you know, position right now with his thinking and the way he conducts himself now, that he would regret everything that he said to Jesus. Okay. That's, I mean, I've said things in my life that I regret. We all do.
mm,
We all do. We all, spit words off the handle when we're angry, especially us guys. You know, all it takes is to drop a tool on a guy's toe, and you're going to hear every cuss word that a sailor could do on the open seas. I mean, that's just the way it is. You know, and that's just the way things happen. And
mm,
it's just you never really think about how much power words have until you come across a legend or a story such as Saint Germain. Okay. And the power that the words have, that is just, to me, even when I was little and I was being taught by my parent, um to do the dark arts, to do the manifestations and the hexes and the curses and the skinwalker, that type of stuff. I can honestly say that, the words when I was younger, they did have power. Okay. They had a lot of power. I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again. In seventh grade, I had enough power inside me to basically look at somebody and put a thought in their head and they would do it. Okay. Um, Now, you know, and it's just the way I guess it's if you do it enough, if you repeat or if it's repeated enough, and it becomes second nature to where you just do it without
Mm.
thinking. And I just wonder if Saint Germain right now, what he thinks about having to be stuck living eternity in a flesh suit in a world that is so screwed up it can't even straighten itself out. You know, I don't know. I just don't know. I just find it very fascinating. So
Well, and you also got to think too. Back before what's before certain individuals took control and started manipulating things, our lifespan was nothing to reach 900 to over 1,000 years old. And then they tell you
right,
we go into this new age of life that is coming about, and we ascend to the higher level dimension, fourth or fifth dimension, higher level of consciousness. It's nothing to see that plus more, but you won't ever think bad about it because you're living in a time of peace and joy and happiness and of plenty. So, I mean, if that's the case, I've always joked around and said I want to live to be 123 on my 123rd birthdays when I was going to croak. I can't get into all the details because I'll get in trouble on YouTube, but I had everything planned out. Quit. But so I mean
okay.
that's
So that
something you
brings
got to
up.
think about. Hmm.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I said you got to think. That's something. One way you got to look at it as well as that. So I mean, and to me, if that's the case, that's more of a blessing than it is a curse. You know, look at all the ancient kings that ruled for 4,000 plus years. I mean, there's some of them even served was kings for longer than that. They don't want to tell you about that in your mainstream education, but you get a real education and you learn the truth about
Well,
what it was like.
no, give me a second here. I got an air pocket. Oh.
Mm.
Anyways.
No.
Hmm. Oh, wow. Those are
Yeah,
painful,
they suck. Yeah.
especially when you don't have an esophagus and your stomach's your esophagus. They're really painful.
Mm.
Hmm. Anyways, so in that aspect or principle of it, mm, damn, boy, that's painful. Um,
Mm.
hold on a second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in that aspect of it, that's why I drink coffee right there because it gets rid of it. The hot coffee hits it and
Mm.
boom, it's gone. Um, in that aspect, then wouldn't reincarnation kind of be like immortality?
It could. I mean, I've had vivid dreams of me running. So I've had dreams where I'm woken up in a teepee and there's explosions and there's gunshots going down, and me and the rest of the tribe are running through a prairie and we're being hunted down by cavalry. Now I can feel the gunshots. I can feel the heat of the day. I mean, it was just like I was actually freaking there. Could that
Hmm.
have been a memory from a past life before I was reincarnated? Possibly. I mean, that is one of the leading theories out there. Do I know true? No. Do I know that most of my dreams are very, very vivid and very, very realistic as if I'm there? Absolutely right. I've had dreams where I call it the future, where I'm fighting aliens or monsters or demons and I'm saving people. And I'm just, but I could feel every single thing that happens. I feel every single pain. I wake up with that pain. Every sensation, everything. I feel it.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I that is a possibility, buddy.
Yeah, I just I remember years ago hearing about the young boy that he was like 4 years old and he was playing with his toys and stuff, and he started reciting things that happened to him during World War II. And he was a
Yeah.
fighter pilot, and all that. And he was saying how he was shot down, and what his name was when he was, previous life, and all that, and what his rank was, and where he was, and all that, in the plane when it crashed and it got shot down. Um, and his parents investigated the information and found out that that was the exact information that actually had been a World War II pilot and was shot down over France. And everything turned out to be true that 4-year-old boy said, and I just, to me, that a is it part of us that continues on to be recreated, to be regenerated, every soul cycle? I mean, they say that when we pass, okay, when we cross over, okay, they say that our good part of our spirit goes one direction and our bad part of the spirit goes another direction, okay. um and this is just stuff that the Wachashawakans talk about, the holy men. um and you know I just can't help but wonder, is it that bad part of the soul that gets regenerated in hopes that it becomes good, you know and then you can go on to the next part of life, you know what I mean, the next stage, the next dimension, whatever you want to call it. You know I don't
Mhm.
know. I mean, there's so many questions, like I said, to this whole immortality thing, that it's amazing. It's an amazing subject. Now, elixir of
Oh, yeah.
life. What was the elixir of life? You know, anybody know? Anybody know how to make the elixir of life?
I got a good theory, but it's not a pleasant one. Yeah, that's the adrenal gland.
Yep.
Yeah, honestly, that's if you study what happens when you terrorize a young child and they secrete that fluid and you harvest it, it is actually, they call it the elixir of life. So could that be what we, when we talk about the elixir of life, what we grew up, could that actually be what it is? I'm a believer that's a very good possibility, because that's literally what they call it now. Is that fluid is the elixir of life. Keeps you young and vibrant as long as you drink it. The problem with that elixir of life is you have to continually drink it, otherwise it wears off.
Hmm. I wonder
So,
if the elixir of life can be manipulated with sound, with tones, with vibration, um, and with words. You know, I
mhm.
mean, whenever I was taught when I was younger to do a spell or incantation, I was taught, a certain way to do it, and what to put into it, and all that, and just even not even really thinking about it, the amount of, I don't want to say power that came from it, but the amount of energy that was created by that potion, or that, that, a number of ingredients, and and all that. Making voodoo dolls too, out of dough. I mean, it's just, this is all stuff that I've learned to do. I talk to the dead. Saw shadow people my entire life, and then I had all the cryptid and UFO activity my entire life. You know,
You're gonna walk on
even
the
today, even today, we have things happening around us. And it's just, to me, it would be something to be immortal like Saint Germain, to experience more stuff like I've experienced in this life. But knowing the way humanity is, it's going to be a shithole in 20 years. So why live eternity? Why live for an eternity in this
Mhm.
flesh suit? I just can't see it. I see it as a definite punishment, because it's like I said, every 4,000 to 6,000 years, it seems like mankind recreates itself. Somebody flips it over, gets rid of one all in one swoop, and then they start the process all over again. Now,
Honey, you're going to stay off
this
my
this is
keyboard.
something that's disturbing to me right here. This is disturbing to me.
Mm.
Okay, let me take the comment off of there. Hold on. Okay, this is disturbing to me. Okay, that CERN and the Vatican are prepared to open the bottomless pit. Okay, now there was a time traveler. I can't remember what his name was. That said that CERN had accidentally created a time machine. And he described the intricate parts of it. He described the way it was operated, the power system for it, and everything. And CERN actually worked with the United Nations on this project, but only a certain few countries knew about it, and ours was one of them. Um, given the fact that there's so much happening today, Eric, people are seeing the UFOs, the aliens, the cryptid creatures, ghosts, elementals, shadow people, and all this. Like you said, with cemeteries not having the wrought iron fence around them to keep the spirits in,
Mm.
that kind of stuff. It's escalated. CERN probably has already opened the bottomless pit, I would say, the way things are going right now. I mean, it can't get much
Oh
worse
yeah.
unless I have a nuke dropped on us. I mean,
Oh yeah.
how much worse can this world get? You know, we're already at the end of a cycle. Um, we're already at the end of a cycle. We're already at the apex of what our humanity in this time has experienced. We're already at the top. You know, if we go any further, we're going to ruin humanity. And
Mm.
that's sad to say. That I mean, from being a Mason, and I know from being a Mason, that we're supposed to give charity to the extent of our cable toe. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and there is something to be said about the whole secret society stuff, and we all know that the Freemasons don't want to take over the world. Trust me, they don't want that pain in
No,
the ass. So, that's a no-no. We don't care for it. Yep. And
I'm definitely not taking over the world.
yeah, yeah. So it's just I don't know.
Hey, and so jump off topic for a split second. Then I want to answer David's question there. So a lot of people, when they start saying that the Freemasons are trying to take over the world, they are mistaking a sect of Freemasons that was called the PJ2 Masons. They were expelled from the fraternity because they got caught practicing Luciferian. So a lot of this crap
Mhm.
that people say this is what Freemasons are doing. No, that was the PJ2s. When they got caught, they were expelled. Luciferians not only invaded Israelites and claimed that they're Israelites to keep from being massacred back when there was a big massacre of Luciferians. They also they integrate into several other things, and the Masons was one of them. I can tell you now, I know hundreds of Mason brothers, and they think the exact same way we do. So the fact that they're telling you that Masons are trying, I can tell you now that's horse crap. We cannot, well, tell you exactly what our stuff is, but I can tell you one thing. If you want to know what our stuff is, go to the Congressional Library and look it up because our stuff is in there. But I swore an oath not to say it, so I'm not going to say it. Now, to answer David's question here, why would the Vatican be involved with the CERN? Do you realize how much evil stuff the Vatican's involved with? I mean, the Vatican has serpents on all over all over it. The Vatican has the pagan symbol of life right in front of it. The Vatican is involved in a lot of stuff. The Vatican is one of the number one people that hides the truth behind or from us. You cannot trust anything goes on there. If you're Catholic, I'm sorry, folks. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but I mean, the truth is the truth. That stuff goes on for a long time. It's the truth.
I have basically with the Catholicism. With Catholicism, I see where they help people, and I see that every day. People go, heck, they be, Catholic Church has even helped me and my family out. I mean, I'm not proud of it, but you know what? When you're suffering from what I have, and you're covered in medical debt, and you're behind on everything because of cancer, you got to depend on the kindness of others, basically, to help you out.
Oh yeah.
And that being said, Catholic Charities has helped us out several times. I'm in that aspect. I'm not saying that they're bad, but to me, religion was really just developed to separate us as individuals, to put a barrier or a wall up between certain people, to give us a reason to not like one another. Why? Who is wanting the world to be so topsy-turvy and wants mankind to hate each other over religion, over politics? I mean, we got enough to worry about. We got enough to worry about. We have taxes over taxes in this country. We're taxed when we buy something. We're taxed when we make money. We're taxed when we at the end of the year. All kinds of taxes. Okay, we're taxed to freaking death. Okay,
we are paid slaves.
Yeah, we're paid slaves. Literally, we are. We're a slave race. And I don't know. It's just amazing to me how we let so many idiots get elected. Okay. And I'm not talking Democrat. I'm not talking Republican. I'm not talking independent. None of that. Okay. I don't care. All right. I'm talking idiots, individuals that shouldn't even have, we shouldn't have even thought that they'd make a good senator or a good congressman or a good, school board member. You know what I mean? Or even a good president, They need, we need good, God-fearing, hard-working, honest people to go in and take care of everything, and make our society here in the United States the way it used to be, the way it's meant to be, per the words of the the Constitution. They have just they've manipulated us. Yeah, they manipulated us to death. They really have. And I blame big pharma, I blame big corporation, I blame BlackRock, I blame the White House, I blame Congress, I blame all of them for the way we are right now.
Oh yeah.
Hey Corey,
you guys got to think, and I agree with both things that you said right there, Woo. That was the point I was getting at. It's my focus was on the Vatican and what the Vatican has done. Of course, the Vatican is supposed to represent Catholicism. I'm sorry, man, and you're absolutely right. It's the people at top is what ruins it for everybody, and that's the ones you got to watch for. Now, is there some lesser ones that do as well? You're absolutely right. There is, but there's been several on the lower side that has done very good things. So I mean, I can't dispute that, and you're absolutely correct about the Sumerian and the Jewish, because you listen to the Bible, everything that's in the Bible is written in the clay tablets from Samaria, and they were what 4 or 5,000 years or two,
Yeah,
somewhere
well,
between 2 or 5,000 years older.
the Sumerian kings list, the first king on that list lived to be over 76,000 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's the Sumerian kings list. Now, Sumerian cuneiform is very, very difficult to interpret. Okay, um, so and it's the first form of verbal writing that there is Sumerian, the cuneiform. So yes, it would be it would be they live 76,000 years old. You have to wonder, are they using the concept of current time, or was there some other time that they went by to get to 76,000 years old? You know what I'm saying? Were they going per season, like 4 quarters in a year? I mean, there had to been, for them to live to 76,000 years would make them pretty much um, untouchable. I mean, yeah, immortal. And
Mhm,
that's what the topic of today is immortality. And it's like,
mhm.
I don't know. It's just, to me, that the cuneiform is amazing. I wish I couldn't read it. In fact, I've been practicing, but oh well. But just knowing some of the things in like the Bible, the way it was written in Aramaic, and the language of the Jewish people was Aramaic. And I have a good friend, his son teaches that language, and it's a very, very, it's very close. I mean, 322 AD. Okay, there was a group of basically prophetic, religious people that came together, and they dissected the Bible. Okay, they took certain things out of the Bible that they didn't think was appropriate. Okay, now what made them think that they were the ones allowed to make things appropriate and not appropriate is beyond me. um they took the book of Giants out, they took the book of Enoch out, they took the book of um Jubilee out. They took the book of Judas out, and on and on and on. Um, and some of the information that is in these books is very, very fascinating. Just literally, it is. It's just, it's to hear Enoch describe where he was taken up
Oh yeah.
into the heavens, and that whole ordeal,
Hold up. Come on,
it to me
man.
is amazing.
Yeah, I mean it's it
I'm
describes
trying to read.
describes the chariot that they are in, but and stuff like that. And you got to think the false Samaria, like I was saying before, it was what I think it was somewhere between 2,000 5,000 years before Judaism came about. Noah's talked about in the clay tablets.
Yeah.
Moses was talked about in the clay tablets. The flood was talked about in the clay tablets. Everything that we read is in them tablets as well. It's like we've said multiple times.
Yeah.
Uh, Current civilizations are built on the bones and the backs of ancient civilizations. Could that be something that we were seeing there? It's like I talked
Yeah,
about
that's
last
the
night.
other. Yeah, that's the other thing too, though, Eric. That you and I both agree on 100% is the whole, civilization built on top of civilization, and we believe in the giant theory. I believe, do
Mm-hmm.
I believe that Devil's Tower it was once a petrified, a giant tree? Yeah, I do. I do. You know why? This is why, because in my heritage, in my bloodline, in my elders teach us every day they pounded this the legends of the giant trees and the Buffalo Nation and all that, and how it's connected to the stars and everything that we were taught as children growing up that our elders would talk to us about is is pounded into our heads, and when we have stories of the seven brothers that wanted to marry a beautiful maiden, and they had to escape on a tree with magic arrows to avoid the Buffalo Nation from attacking them and killing them.
Yep.
Um, they became stars. Okay, now to me that's comparable if you think about this connection, okay? Connection with that legend, okay, that we were taught as children, okay, to basically Jacob's ladder. Think about it. That story, that Native American legend talks about the brothers going to stars and becoming stars in heaven, okay?
Mm-hmm.
In order for them to basically do that, it would be like a Jacob's ladder story. Where who was it? Isaiah? Was it Isaiah that saw it? I can't remember. Anyways, seeing the angels, come up and down on Jacob's ladder. It's the same principle with the tree in the magic arrows, making a tree grow and continue to grow until it touched the heavens. You know, to me, these stories are the same. Okay, there's a slight difference in the stories, but the principles of it and some of the details are meant to teach us the way it used to be, and that is, we as humans have lost that. We are trying so hard. There's a few of us out there that are trying really hard to gain that knowledge back, okay, that sacred knowledge. um it's like the flood story. Basically the Lakota story is, it rained for 30 days and 30 nights, basically, like it says in the Bible. Or I think it was 40 days and 40 nights in the Bible. But our story was that all the native people, their bodies turned to the catlinite that we make our stone pipes out of. You know, that is the blood of our ancestors. That's why the catlinite, the sacred blood, blood of our ancestors is meant in that bowl. The bowl of the pipe, okay, is made from pipestone, which is catlinite. Okay, now it's only manufactured in one area of this country, and that's in Pipestone, Minnesota. Okay, and a very very dear friend of mine, a brother of mine, has the Pipestone Museum, and he basically took it over when the elder crow that took care of it died. But it was bequeathed to him, and he took it over, and he's moved it since then. I think now the Pipestone Museum is in West Virginia, as a matter of fact, close to Ranson, West Virginia, I would imagine. But anyways, make a long story short, the flood stories are basically the same. But that connection to mud fossils in that legend made me the other night realize that there is a connection between these things, that mud fossil university and that we are seeing are actually real, actual giants, actually, you know. actual severed tongues. You know, I mean, you can't mistake it. You really can't. So history is written by the victors. Okay, we all know that.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
we all know that. Okay, the victors write the history books,
You're the one that keeps
but
moving around.
it's the legends and the tales from the ones that basically lost everything that means more than what the victors won. If you know what I'm saying, it's something to, because it's a point where we're humble enough to actually have a reason to exist, to have immortality be the probably the a connection that we could, as and I hate to say this, as the losers, um because we're not losers. How do I want to say this? I can't really, I can't articulate it right now.
We're
We as
not losers,
losers,
but we have.
yeah, we're actually the winners, because
Yeah.
we were the ones that were humble enough to say enough's enough, and and basically, you know, turn it over, turn the U.S. cavalry over, to the victors, and let them write the books. But we had the books in our oral tradition. Okay, we had, and Corey, you know this, and several other people in the chat know this that have native blood. You know, we are the ones that had oral tradition. We are the ones that you see the cave art, okay, the petroglyphs and stuff on the painted walls in Archuleta Mesa, you know, area. That area has several things too, which Juno can tell you. Um, there's so many things that came out of us losing that we almost were the victors, you know. And through those legends and those stories, my point is that our life will continue forever. So in a way, we are immortal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at Enoch. When he was taken up, he never died. Enoch never died. He was taken to the kingdom of heaven. So Enoch is immortal.
Exactly.
He never died. I mean, that's
Exactly.
another one right there. You
Yep.
you talk. We talk about ancient stuff. You're absolutely right. I mean, Jesus says, "Once you know me and my Father's word, you will see the body of earth. You'll see the bones on earth." So that's pretty much telling you right there that you'll see the history with open eyes and what really was out there, and that's the remains of these giants. I mean, it's not just giant humans, folks. I've done a couple shows on this. It's giant animals, it's giant humans. There was so much stuff out there that people don't know. I mean, you got, I think, no, that was a sloth. It wasn't a reptilian. Um, Vapor canopy. Yeah, yeah. Um, they did. Woo. They What it was is you got to think back then. There you go, right there. Yeah. You got to think back in them times. Woo. This is one of the leading theories, and this is a theory that I kind of like because it makes sense. All the puzzle pieces fit together. That before we were genetically altered, our lifespan was thousands of years old, and you can see through ancient text and history where that age started lowering and lowering and lowering and lowering and lowering back to the point for just was it 10, 20 years ago. 70 was a pretty good age to live before you died, and now we're back up to getting to the 90s and the hundreds. So we're starting to progress back up, just like our height. Our height, you can see through history where our height got lower, lower, and lower. And the last 10, 20 years, it's starting to go back up again. When I was born, I'm 5'9". I was an average height. Nowadays, the generation that's just entering the workforce now, an average height for them is 6 foot. we're starting to go back up.
Well, sorry, I'm getting real hoarse now.
No worries.
My thing is basically the fact that we have all this information that we're finding out from our research and stuff, and we're finding out more and more every day how this deceitful our governments and our universities, I call them indoctrination centers, the Smithsonian, NASA, the whole 9 yards, they're all deceiving us. They're all lying to us. Why cover up what the real history is in this world? Why do it? What do they have to gain from it? Other than keeping
Power.
us, yeah, other than keeping us under their thumb and basically being their slaves, I don't know. But to me, it's stuff like this that we need to question. You take a look at some of this stuff, and I'm going to pop up some pictures, on here. Let me see here. You question stuff like this, okay? That always comes up. And then old maps, in the center of this map, this is Antarctica, by the way, guys. Look at the center of the map. There is a dog man and a lizard and a Bigfoot there represented. Okay. Now, yeah. And if we didn't have a past like that, then why are there maps like that? Why are things happening and symbolisms being done and taught to us from the stars, with the solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse and, and the possible earthquake on the 8th, Why are these things happening? Why are we finding that in 2024 on April 8th, that there could be an earthquake coinciding with this eclipse? Okay. So, and it's because in 1811 they had that over 7.0 earthquake in Missouri, right where the X is basically is the epicenter. Okay. Yep. Can it happen again? Yeah, it can.
Absolutely.
It definitely can. But all these things are connected. All of it is connected, and it's just a matter, like I've always said, connecting the dots. I will always question where we came from as a race. Okay. The Mormons called my people the lost tribe of the Israelites that sinned and her skin turned red. Well, last time I knew, red was this color. Okay. Not the color of my skin. My skin is brown. Okay. My skin is brown, not red. But, it's the same thing. I mean, we have history being thrown us in our face, stuff like this. This photograph was clearly taken around the 1940s, and this was supposed to be in Nahanni Valley up in Canada. Okay. So, we have stuff like this that's constantly thrown up in our face. Why are they hiding it? Other than keeping us subdued and subservient, I don't see any reason for them to hide it from the public. It's not going to cause a mass panic. They think we're a bunch of little freaking kids in kindergarten. I don't know. Anyways, that's just my final thought.
David's got a question here, and I'll tell you, the 12-month calendar is actually a fairly new calendar. The original calendars were 13 months long. Each month had 28 days in it. Each month followed the lunar cycle.
Right.
So in all actuality, the years were a month longer than what they are now. Um, so,
And
how
that's
do
why
they
they have
measure
leap
the
year
age?
too, because mankind screwed it up.
Hmm. Yeah. How do they measure the age of them? Modern times can't measure it. They say stuff. What you're getting on the ages comes from ancient text. Um, Now this BC, BC is before Christ, AD is after death. That is just a number that people put on stuff. It's not the actual true number of years of the earth. It's just what mainstream, educated people try to
Right.
say this is what this is. In all reality, man, it's not real. The true numbers, we're under, what is our true number? I can't remember. I've seen it once, but it's astronomically high. I mean, we human beings or humanoids, however you want to say it, has been on this earth a hell of a lot longer than what them so-called scholars will tell you we have been. I mean, they told you now that, when I grew up in school, it was a common knowledge and education that the first people to come over to the United States on the land bridge were the Asians. Well, they've recently proven that wrong because of two factors. There was actually two land bridges, one on the east, one on the west. So they not only just came down from Alaska in, but they came from Europe and over and down as well. And there is a bog in Florida that has preserved bodies of these people for that have put them on U.S. soil. Was it 15,000 years prior to what they originally were being taught? I can't remember the name of them bogs down there. But they still had the food in their stomachs from when they're being digested, still had the hair, still had I mean, the bog perfectly preserved their bodies. They would bury their bodies in this bog and it perfectly preserved them. And it drew the whole theory of, the first civilized people on, or first civilization to ever reach America's soil was a hell of a lot older than what they originally said. So I mean, you can't go off of dates. When you get to think about dates, that's where you get confused. That's where they gain power. You have to think beyond dates.
Hmm. Ray, that's yeah, that's true. BCE.
You also got to think of
Hmm.
carbon dating because they'll tell you that some is before carbon dating and after carbon dating. They tried to change it up. We grew up for years knowing BC before Christ, AD after death. Nowadays, they tell you that BC is before carbon dating and AD is after carbon dating. They've changed it in the last,
Yeah.
was it 20 years, 30 years, something like that. They changed it again.
Yep. Yep. And if anybody ever doubts that, the ancient tall trees that stood thousands of feet tall, in this on this planet in our world this before we destroyed it all, um, didn't exist, just go to the redwoods, like Glade says here. Go check out the redwoods and see how big those trees are. You know, I mean, they can cut out tunnels inside the trunk of the tree for your car to drive through.
Mm-hmm.
And those are small trees. Those would just be the tip of the iceberg with the way things were back in ancient times. You know, so and like Eric said, we have been shrinking. You know, I'm 6 foot tall. My youngest son is somewhere between 6'5", 6'7", depends on how straight he stands up. But anyways, that being said, both my sons are bigger than I am. So I think we're on our way of going back up in the height, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we've
Mm-hmm.
hit that lull, and now we're going back up into the height. And
Yep, you're
maybe
being
just maybe if we
insane.
keep on going, we'll be giants again. You never know.
Oh yeah. And there's one thing I suggest you guys to really think, and this is what's going to open you up. And I'll give you a couple examples. We know that they were cloud eaters. They were giants so tall they called cloud eaters. One of the Native American plateaus in Nevada, I believe it is, that the stories told that the bear had clawed it and stuff like that. Has been, Roger was
Mhm.
able to do DNA testing, and it was a humanoid. It was a giant. It was a cloud eater. Now, people are going to tell you we never had an ecosystem that could support that big of a creature. They could not support on or live on food on that. That's because you're thinking of your mainstream scholars. You're thinking in the way that they want you to think. You have to think. You know that old saying, you got to think outside of the box. When it comes to history, when it comes to truth, that is a very good phrase to use. You have to think outside of the box. We are kept dummified to how our ecosystem was. Ecosystem is a good way for Darwinism to take effect. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You're absolutely right. I mean, NASA, Smithsonian, three lettered agencies, they're all in on this. Even there's governments around the world are in on this because, so I've said before, there was a bad part of my life where I wasn't a very good person. Fear gained power in my mind. When people feared me, I had power. This is exactly how they think. They keep you in fear. They keep you dumbed down so they can keep power over you. You have to look outside of everything and open your mind. I'm always saying, open your mind, open your eyes, wake up. That's what I'm talking about. You have to start not going, well, this don't make no sense because this is how we were taught. This don't make no sense. You got to take what you was taught when you was younger and throw that out the window and think outside of that box. You have to open your eye and your mind and see things for how they are. You can't sit there and deny when you got a big old freaking what they call plateau, but you can obviously tell it's a hollowed out tree in the center because you can see the roots, you can see the bark, you can see the trunk, you can see everything that has been cut down. You're not going to realize that until you open your mind and look and go, holy crap, that's sitting right in front of me. And when that moment happens, that's when you start realizing I got to
Yeah.
stop, thinking the way they want me to think.
What I would love to do is actually get inside the Vatican's archives and
Yeah.
the vault that they have underneath the Vatican city, and just see what's down
Hmm.
there. Because I got a funny feeling that they know a hell of a lot more than what they've
Hmm.
exposed anything to. And I think
Hmm.
Smithsonian is the same way with their vaults. You know,
Yep.
they're always deceiving humanity. And
Hmm.
it's just a way to keep us under their thumb. They hide the evidence. They take the evidence from us. They put the people in positions of power to basically make us all feel like we're crazy because we're thinking of theories of our lives and stuff and the way things are today out of the box. They label us
Yep.
crazy, or we're conspiracy theorists, or we're just we have pareidolia all the time, when it comes to seeing things. It's ridiculous what
Mhm.
they try to do. They have people in these groups in Facebook and on YouTube and all that. They are disinformation people. Okay.
Mhm.
And I can spot them a mile away. Okay. From just the way they talk. Okay. And the way they say things. And, there's just so many of them that there's this one woman that I think DA had her on. I can't remember if it was DA or if it was another podcast. But oh no, it was my brother Scott and his wife Hannah from Squatch America. Which, by the way, we should actually subscribe to their channel, Squatch America. They're really good people. Um, but anyways, make a long story short, they had this woman on that said, "Oh, giants never existed." Well, what are you staring at when you see a Bigfoot? What are you staring at when you see petrified remains? Why is the Smithsonian taking all the giant skulls from the 40 giant skulls that were found in Toledo, Ohio area of our country, They confiscated them all and locked them up in their vaults. Why aren't those being exposed? Those are giant bones. Okay. There was a grave found in Minnesota. Okay. 9 foot to 10 foot to 12 foot tall skeleton remains. That's a giant. Okay. Maybe not a huge giant, but that's still a giant. Okay. So, but why is the Vatican hiding it? Why is Smithsonian hiding it? Why is the National Geographic discerning information? Why are they? They're kind of like the Lou Elizondos of UFO, as far as I'm concerned. These people are put on CIA payroll and told to do certain things in certain groups. Okay, and they can't deny it. Okay, because I've seen it firsthand. Okay, these people are bought off by the CIA to do disinformation, to make us look bad, to screw with theories and make them seem illogical and all this over time. And that's why I would love to see if Saint Germain is still around. And being immortal, you could expose so much over time. So much of history that was lost, you could correct it if you're immortal. So I don't know. I'd kind of like to talk to Saint Germain. So.
Oh yeah, I actually might have a picture that will give you guys some very good clarity on what we mean when we're talking about the size of some of these giants. And this is a real picture you can get on Google Earth, and you can find this on Google Earth. This is literally a legitimate picture. I'm scrolling through my stuff. And, oh, where did she go? I just had it yesterday. Give me a second. Let me go through this other folder where I can bring it up bigger. But this is and I showed this yesterday on my podcast, and you guys, this is. I mean, you can't deny. I mean, once you open up your eyes, the only way you're going to deny it is because you don't want to know the truth, and you don't want to admit to the truth, because then you're outside your norm, and you're outside of what you grew up in, your safety bubble. You need to break free from your safety bubble and start living a life, man. That is one of the biggest things. Honey, I know I love you too, but you're being very pushy. There it is. You're being very pushy, and you're being a pain in the butt, honey. I don't know what your deal is today. Yes, I know, but you're getting up here, you're going to cause problems. Now you need to stop. Sorry, she is very, very needy today.
Aren't we all?
She is. I love her to death. It's my daughter's cat, Aurora. I love her to death, but she loves Lubbings, and she's very picky on who she wants Lubbings, but she's always wanting Lubbings from me. So here's this picture I was telling you about. And you can actually get this picture from Google Earth. Yeah. You're telling me.
Yep, a sleeping woman.
I mean, you can see the feet and legs, knees, buttocks, back, belly, breast, arms, hair. This is all stuff that happened during the flood when it killed a lot of these giants off. So I mean, come on, folks. It's just, I mean, it's out there. You have to. I can't, and William can't, and nobody else can force you to see the truth. All we can do is give you this information. It's like I've always said, and I've said it on here, I don't know how many times. Don't take what I say for granted. Take it with a grain of salt. Do your own research. Come up with your own theory, your own hypothesis.
Right.
But when you have stuff like that that's out in open, nature does not carve that way. I am very sorry if that's what you want to believe. Nature does not carve that way. But until you open up and you look at it, you'll never see anything more than just that. Nature carved it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rob and I agree 100% with that. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, And I'm not trying to hurt nobody's feelings. So if you take it that way, I apologize. It's not my intentions. It's just the facts are facts.
Yep.
You
Well,
know, you
everybody,
want.
if you could like, heart, and share this out, if you could like, heart, and share this out as much as possible, I greatly would appreciate it. Help our algorithm out for the channel, and also if you could hit that like button or heart button, and just give us some love. Um, we've been on 2 hours now. We're over the 2 hour mark, and I think this is the longest I've talked with air in my lungs in the last month. So I'm gonna have to get off soon because I can't do it much more, and I'm out of coffee. I got like half a cup left, so I can't keep the airway open. But anyways, I just, there's so many things that we need to question, and David's right. I do say question everything. If there's one thing anybody can learn from me, it's that they need to question everything. Don't believe on just what just what your eyes will see. Question it, counter question it with what you smell, what your mouth tastes, what you hear. That's why we're given all these senses. We're meant to use them all, okay, and we're meant to use it to question everything. So that's why we're made this way. We're curious. Humans are curious. Okay, they're a destructive creature and a creature of habit, but and that's why we recycle ourselves every 4 to 6,000 years. Um, that's why we have civilizations built upon civilizations. I mean, God knows what we're going to find if we dig, if we burrow 100 feet below our feet. God knows what we're going to find. And I'm also a firm believer that there's passageways too inside the earth, continent to continent, and areas of the country. So I do believe that. So is there an inner earth? Yeah, there might be. I do believe so. I believe that there's a lot of undiscovered things in this life. Okay, and we're discovering more and more every day by questioning everything we do and see. Okay, that's it. That's it. That's all that's all I got. My brain is tapped. My voice is tapped. Please, like I said, like, heart, and share this out. Eric, why don't you let them know what's going on with you and your podcast, and then
Yeah, absolutely.
we'll let them all go about their Sunday.
Tonight, I am doing a show at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time called the Hawaiian Night Marchers. For those of you who don't know who the Hawaiian Night Marchers are, they were the royal guard that marched around at night protecting the people. Now, if you was a common person and you looked upon them, they killed you. It was automatic death. You were not allowed to look upon them. So there's a theories, and I will share something that I've experienced while I was stationed over there, which led me to know who these are. But if you come across them and they're walking, you're supposed to lay prone and keep your head down to the ground. And otherwise, if you try anything, they'll kill you. If you look at them, they'll kill you. So the best thing to do is just to lay down, keep facing the ground, and let them walk by. So I'll get more than that. So that's tonight's show. Saturday at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time, I have campfire chats with Eric and guests. Last night was an amazing one. I had Cole on there with me, and we went over a lot of his stuff, his encounters, his stuff. It was a great show. That is what my campfire chats with Eric and guest is about, is for you guys to come in a relaxed, safe environment and tell your encounters. If you want to come on live like Corey did last night, I'll shoot you a link. You come on live. If you yes, Robin. If you want to just talk about your stuff in chats, man, we'll do it. That's what that's for. That my shows I do is not for me, folks. It's for you. That's why I get on here with William. I was on last night with DA. It's a fun time. It's a fun thing, and I do it for you guys. You guys are the reason why I get up every single day, and I spend a lot of my free time doing research or doing things to provide education for you guys. So I mean, I love each and every single one of you guys. You guys are amazing people, and I couldn't ask for a better group of people to come to Saturday, Sunday, and talk to. I really can't. You guys are amazing. Um, I am an author. I've got currently 5 books published. I got In Our Jar Book 1, Emergence, In Our Jar Book 2, Black, or I'm sorry. Woo, brain farted that one. Saga Grimson Book 1, The Beginning, Saga Grimson Book 2, Black Death, which is my cryptid horror. I have a prequel that's released called Verigan Guard Book 1's How of Battle. That's based off the World War II German werewolves. That is the most recent one I've had released. I've got a sci-fi that's called In Our Jar Book 1 Emergence, and I have a historical fiction called The Dolph's Land Beyond, which is a Mountain Man series that I'm working on. Now, I'm working on another book called The Two Brothers, War and Turmoil, which is another historical fiction. Unfortunately, I've not had time to work on them lately because I have been going ever since March 9th when we got done with that paranormal investigation at the Shaved Beaver in Everton, Missouri. Every single waking moment I've had has literally been going over evidence. And y'all, when I release this video, heads up, it's going to be over a 2 hour, possibly 3, maybe a little over 3 hour video because there's so much stuff that we caught in that investigation. I sent a couple audios to Williams Messenger. That's disturbing. You know, one of them says, huh? What's going on with CERN?
Yeah, it's a big thing. Basically, I'm gonna put this up so they can see it, and they can read it for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing that's going on with CERN and the Vatican. Okay, just so you know.
You guys noticed
and there's several other things. So here's something I wanted. You know, the way they manipulate us, the way they manipulate us. With our food and our drink and stuff. Yeah, I want to show this too, just to put it out there. This is disgusting, but Tyson Foods has mealworms, okay? And basically, I've seen video evidence recently in the last week from McDonald's, people going to McDonald's and ordering the a milkshake, and they literally get the milkshake, and in the bottom of the glass, after they're done drinking the milkshake, they see the mealworms, the disgusting worms that collect inside the spiral of the ice cream machine and in the spiral of all the machines, because they don't clean the machines. Okay, this is ridiculous. No wonder so many people are getting sick.
Look how many body parts are found in their food. Hint, hint.
Yeah. How many human remains? Yeah, exactly. Basically, I want to. Here's another one. Look at this. The UK version of Quaker Oats compared to the USA version on the ingredients. Just look at the ingredients. Why does the UK get the healthier choice? It's amazing. Okay. Anyways, that's for another show. Praise go to Yeshua. And I want to thank everybody for being here. It's been a great Sunday morning talking about everything, and hopefully we can question everything and move on as a collective, as a big family, because that's what you guys are in the chat. You are family, plain and simple. That's why we love chatting with you guys every Saturday and Sunday. Sometimes my health won't let me do it, but like yesterday morning, but I was able to catch my wind during the day, and oh yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Go get Eric's that shirt, people, on Bonfire.
Yeah. Bonfire /store/ into the red rabbit hole to get any shirt. I have like what 15, 16 t-shirt designs on that site. And sweaters,
this one's my
hoodies,
favorite.
All kinds of stuff. That's the One Nation, One Spirit, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah. I've started my bonfire, and I'm trying to figure out how to get the website up. I've got, some shirts, hoodies, and hats made, and coffee cups as well.
Yeah. They're a
My
good site.
my location, huh?
They're a good
I'm sorry.
site. They really are. And they tend to work with the small podcasters too, though, a little bit more
Mhm.
than the bigger podcasters. I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is. We only get a certain percentage of the sales, but it still helps out. Every dime we make. I mean, I'm getting to the point right now where I might have to get another computer because this one's just not doing it. So. But between that and internet failures and just connection failures and microphones, I can't tell you how many microphones I've got sitting here that don't work. you know, that really don't work. And there's nothing I can do about it. You know, I even have
Yeah.
small ones that like this that you would wear if you're a reporter. And hook it up to the computer and nothing. So, but anyways, that's another story. Anyways, you guys have a great day. Enjoy your Sunday. And be safe. Watch for the lunar eclipse on the 25th of this month, everybody. Okay. Get outside and see it. Okay. See what all the talk's about. And that's leading up to the April 8th eclipse. Okay. And the 3 days of darkness. So be prepared. Okay. Question everything, but be prepared because not everything you question is going to come out with a good answer. All right. It's going to come out negative too. So we need to be prepared. Okay. Take care, everybody. God bless you. And we will see you all next time.
Peace, love, and blessings, everyone.